faccio caso po'. Pombo tolerzi champion che pervenite. Cali dobiono la queimage. Cali do josonto rewosh. Cali do brono rosh gala. Cali do yo veronimo. Lante fomo bar importa rush. Van cali don yondo. Cali do yon mant. Cali do yonto. Je pombo de rest voor nuthe.
We all feel them. The forbidden, the sinful, the taboo. Behaviors that divide cultures and inspire fear. But our differences may be what make us all human.
Cannibalism. What is cannibalism? It is usually the ritualistic act of eating human flesh by a human being. However, some people eat others for fun, for entertainment, for art, or simply because they want to. In modern society, it is no surprise cannibalism is considered such a touchy and controversial topic.
We want to know, what are your opinions on cannibalism?
They're gross.
Well, I find it. Just stop. We're so close.
I think it's weird and stupid, and it should be over. Like, it should stop.
Honestly, I'd rather eat a human than a dog.
You don't just casually bring up cannibalism at the dinner table. After all, it is considered immoral. Eating another human being might simply imply killing them or taking their life. But it is possible to eat someone to death as well as get their consent. Though, cannibalism is looked down upon in society.
Mark is upstairs with his legs cut off. You're eating him. You're all sick. Sick in the head.
Lee, that's not a very nice thing to imply.
Jeffrey Dahmer was an American serial killer who was eventually arrested in 1991. This sparked controversy as well as increased people's interest in crimes, notably serial murder, and he was famous for committing gruesome crimes which involve necrophilia and, of course, cannibalism. There is no direct statement saying cannibalism is wrong, but there are mentions of it in the Bible. While God made the plants and animals for people to eat, he did not make people to eat people. In the Bible, cannibalism is frowned upon. How does it feel to eat people?
Przepraszam, nie rozumiem, co mówisz.
What do people taste like?
Ja lubię chleb i czasami mleko bez krowy.
When did you start eating people?
Jak byłam bardzo mała, taki duży, taki mały, może świętym być. Ty wiesz.
How often do you eat people?
2 razy dziennie.
To take me to her kitchen where she cooks her human food.
Tak, ja lubię
This is
ser.
where she keeps her food.
To jest taki sernik.
And she's about to show me the process of how she cooks them. I guess using microwave. Or an oven.
I to wszystko.
She says those are human fingers.
Ja bardzo lubię taki ser. Mają tak dobry ser, tak delikatnie. Nie wiem, musisz. Masz jedną.
A poll was hosted asking if cannibalism is wrong, and the majority, which is 73%, said it is not. And these are some of their reasoning.
During my time, while I was doing field work with the Agori monks, I opened up my eyes to having a different perspective to culture and to cannibalism. To them, cannibalism is not considered wrong. Their culture is very religious based and ritual based. They practice cannibalism by drinking urine out of skulls, and they consume human flesh after they have decayed, and after they have been, they've died. And they don't do this for pleasure or just because they know it's wrong. They do it because it's a ritual for them. They practice this and they are very passionate about what they do. We cannot be ethnocentric, because once we judge a culture through our own standards, we typically we have our standards and they become obstacles for when we evaluate another culture. So we have to really look at a culture through their eyes and what their standards are and what they consider to be right according to them. And again, we cannot be ethnocentric when we're looking at these types of cultures. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have the physiological needs, you have esteem, and you have belonging. They really skip to self-actualization. They really reflect and they meditate on near cemeteries, and they are really much involved with the dead, and they believe that all the needs that are before self-actualization, like belonging and physiological needs and esteem, that will come automatically. The Agori monks, they consume and they use human remains because they believe it's very they would consider it wrong to not use it, and we may think that this is bizarre or even immoral, but again, looking at it through their eyes, it's not. Just that's because we think it's wrong, because it's through our eyes and our standards. And they really use cannibalism. They practice cannibalism as a way to gain spiritual knowledge and spiritual enlightenment, and we can see that they aspire to be pure because they walk around unclothed, bare, because they want to reach that level of purity. The Agori monks, they really, we cannot judge them because of what we think is right. We need to judge them through what they think is right.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. This is often one of the only times where taboos are debatably understood. In the case of cannibalism, survival and basic human needs tend to start a moral battle with anyone who is faced with this choice, whether to consume a fellow human or let themselves starve. This was the case in 1972, in an event known as the Andes plane crash. The story goes that a plane full of people, particularly close friends and family, were traveling in a faulty plane which ended up crashing in a mountain range. About 10 days after the crash, the survivors had been going empty for about a week, and their only option was to eat those who didn't survive. Initially, they ate the pilot, and eventually had to move on to loved ones. For the next 60 days before rescue, the 16 survivors who were left alone with nothing were forced to eat the bodies of about 25 other people in the freezing mountain range. The freezing mountain range! Their physical health, along with their mental health, were relatively well after rescue. They of course began to see life in a new light, and were still doing well to this day. But what was the public's reaction? Initially, the public viewed the 16 survivors as monsters, people who had betrayed their friends and family to satisfy their own needs. After some debate with the Catholic Church, they came to the conclusion that of course one must treat the dead with respect. The survivors symbolized this respect by selecting them as food. More controversy came up when the point was made that not eating the bodies would be in a way suicide, which strictly goes against the Catholic Church. The survivors felt no guilt as they viewed their actions as survival and relished in their newfound appreciation for life. So basically, like, survivors, they didn't want to die, right? So they had two choices. Either die, which they didn't want, let's make that they didn't want to die. And choice numero dos, their second choice was like, we eat the people who already died. It's not like they're killing anyone at that point. Like,